Good evening. This is Sunday Express on KBC Channel 1, being the 21st of May 2023. We're glad that you could make time. Now, statistics indicate that 1 out of every 4 Kenyans is seeking medical treatment for medical health issues. So tonight, we understand where we are in as far as matters of mental health are concerned, as well as what are the triggers and where will you be seeking help. But before all that, let us have a look at what has been making headlines. Government pledges support for the church, but warns that radicalization and indoctrination will not be tolerated.
National Land Commission watafanya kazi yao. Ministry of Lands ambao wako na uwezo ya kufanya wafanya valuation.
Do not rob Peter to pay Paul. President Ruto cautions against corruption in land compensation in the country. And chaos in Sirare. Locals engage police in running battles after 3 businessmen are gunned down in Espanya town. Good evening, this is Sunday Express on KBC Channel 1. I'm Regina Manyara, and our sign language interpreter is none other than Lancer Odinga. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has urged religious leaders to assist the government in weeding out fake pastors and churches. So far, 238 bodies have been exhumed from Shakahola Forest in Kilifi County, while 90 people have been rescued. Phase 2 of the exhumation exercise will resume on Wednesday, the 24th of May.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki says the government will not shy away from dealing with rogue churches and pastors.
Serikali ya Kenya itapambana vita vikali na watu wote ambao wamejificha katika dini, kuumiza na kuangamiza mioyo na maisha ya Wakenya.
Professor Kindiki further says Paul Mackenzie, who is believed to be behind the massive graves in Shakahola Forest, Kilifi County, will remain in custody until the truth is revealed and justice served to the victims.
Wale watu wote wamejificha kwa makanisa na kwa dini, kuibia watu, kuumiza watu, wakitumia Biblia, tutafukuzana nao bila tunafukuzana na magaidi. Watu na wananchi wa Kenya wamepata haki yao.
He further warned that government officials will be found to have turned a blind eye to the atrocities will be dealt with accordingly.
Na wamewafanya wafuasi wao kuwa watumwa wao wa kuwatafutia mali, kuwatafutia heshima, kuwatafutia raha, na wanachukua fedha ya watu maskini, wanaenda kununua majumba ya kifahari na mandege na kufanya dhambi wakitumia hiyo pesa.
Phase 2 of postmortems on the exhumed bodies has been scheduled for 24th of May next week. Meanwhile, First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto has reassured churches of continued partnerships to actualize church and government projects. She rallied faithfuls to pray for leaders as the country faces trying times.
We are always ready to come and support the work that you are doing, because we know that you are supporting this government through prayer and through the things that you are doing. And like someone said, whatever is born out of prayer has to be sustained through prayer.
Deputy President's spouse, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja emphasized the need for good leadership in churches.
And as a Church of Jesus Christ, we are saying we are not ashamed of the pillars that are engraved in our Bible. It is doctrine. It tells us we fast. And even others fast, and nobody is asking them.
Look for younger men also, because we cannot afford the confusion that is coming up in many, many places. Today you switch on your TVs, everybody has a station saying all manner of things. We need a remnant.
We need to think about what has worked. A life that is not reviewed is not a life that's worth living.
They made the remarks at Deliverance Church in Kangundo Road in Nairobi during a church service to celebrate Bishop J.B. Masindi's 70th birthday of age. Serafina Nairobi for Sunday Express.
President William Ruto has warned that his administration will not condone corruption in the land sector. The president has cautioned against what he termed as rampant corruption in land compensation in the country, ordering separation of functions between the National Land Commission and the Ministry of Lands.
President William Ruto was today in Isiolo County for an interdenominational prayer service at Isiolo Boys High School. It is here that the president faulted the National Land Commission for what he termed as rampant corruption that has led to inequality in land compensation in the country.
Pale kwa National Land Commission imekuwa soko. Mtu unaenda hapo, unalipa pesa kidogo, shamba ya shilingi 1,100 inakuwa milioni 1. Mwingine anaenda pale kwa sababu hujatoa pesa, shamba yako ya milioni 1 inawekwa shilingi 1,100.
The president therefore ordered separation of functions between the Ministry of Lands and the National Land Commission to enhance accountability.
National Land Commission watafanya kazi yao, Ministry of Lands ambao wako na uwezo ya kufanya valuation, wafanya valuation so that tuondoe hii shida watu wa Isiolo wamejipata ndani yake.
The president also reiterated his administration's plans to create job opportunities for the youth in the country.
I want to tell the people of Kenya for the first time we have an intentional, coherent, credible plan for making sure that we organize our economy in such a manner that it is going to create jobs for the millions of our young people.
Also present was Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who affirmed the government's resolve to eradicate illicit brews.
Tumeanza pale katika Central Kenya, bahali ilikuwa mbaya. We have succeeded to almost 70%. And in the next few weeks, nitaongea na Regional Commissioner wa Eastern, tutaweka mkutano mkubwa na viongozi na maofisa wote wa usalama, ndio tupange mikakati katika Eastern Province ile ya zamani, hasa hapa Isiolo, Marsabit, Embu, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, vile tutapambana na hiyo hali.
Tilio Marco for Sunday Express.
Well, that directive by the president comes hot in the heels of a digitization program that the Land Ministry embarked on to ensure increased service delivery in that particular ministry. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Now, on to matters politics, Jubilee Party rebels insist that Monday's special National Delegates Conference is illegal. Led by Yala Member of Parliament Kanini Kega, the Jubilee MPs accompanied President William Ruto to an interdenominational prayers in session in Isiolo, where they denounced the status of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying he is no longer the leader of the Jubilee Party. The Uhuru Kenyatta-led camp prepares to have a meeting at Ngong Racecourse, Nairobi.
The scramble for Jubilee Party is set to enter another episode on Monday when the Uhuru Kenyatta-led camp holds a special National Delegates Conference at Ngong Racecourse in Nairobi. Embattled Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni has maintained that the meeting, whose main agenda is to cleanse the party and expel the rebels, will go on as scheduled.
The NDC has notified to the members of Jubilee Party by our party leader will be held on the 22nd of May and the 23rd of May.
But in Isiolo County, the perceived Jubilee rebels, led by Iyala MP Kanini Kega and nominated MP Sabina Chege, while accompanying President William Ruto to a prayer meeting, dismissed Monday's delegates conference, saying it was not planned in accordance to the party's constitution.
Nataka nitangaze nikiwa katibu mkuu wa chama cha Jubilee, kesho hakuna mkutano wa NDC. Tutaitana mkutano wa NDC wakati utafaa. Kesho hakuna mkutano.
Na niwaambie wana Jubilee, kesho hakuna mkutano. Kwa sababu hata hiyo position ya party leader ilisha 6 months ago, na sasa tuko 8 months. Kwa hivyo ile waliona kwa gazeti hiyo ni porojo, wale wataenda mkutano Nairobi hiyo ni mkutano tu ya kisiasa.
The faction seems to enjoy the support of several Jubilee elected leaders as well as key party organs like the National Executive Committee and Internal Disputes Resolution Committee. They now want former President Uhuru Kenyatta to obey the party's constitution and relinquish the leadership of the party.
Our former party leader ambaye alikuwa ni rais, tunamheshimu sana, wakati wake wa miezi 6 uliisha. Na kama chama tutarudi mashinani ili tufanye maneno yetu ndio ifike maneno ya delegates pale.
Na tunaomba kwa sababu tunajua Mwenyezi Mungu, Your Excellency, atakupatia nafasi ya kuwa rais miaka ingine 10. Baada ya miaka 10 tusikuone tena ukingangania chama cha UDA kama vile tunaona yule ambaye wa Jubilee anangangania.
Gishoki Washira, Sunday Express.
Tomorrow we'll be keeping tabs on what exactly happens in regard to that particular delegates meeting and the turn of events given, the two factions that are warring over the leadership of Jubilee Party. Now, transport along the Esbania-Sirari corridor was brought to a standstill for the better part of the day as locals protesting over insecurity engaged officers in running battles. The irate locals claim the spate of insecurity in the region has left scores dead, with the latest being 3 businessmen who were gunned down by unknown assailants Sunday morning.
The demonstrators barricaded the highway and lit bonfire, paralyzing movement along the busy corridor. Police officers in Isebania had a hectic time containing the situation as locals seemed not to relent on the matter. A special security meeting was hurriedly convened with the business committee to restore tranquility within the town center.
Grievances yao wanasema laxity ya askari ambayo wanakaa hapa Isebania town, of which tutafuatilia tuone hii maneno yote tutasolve namna gani ile matatizo wananchi wana raise mambo ya insecurity ya hapa Isebania town.
Niseme pole kwa sababu jana tulipoteza maisha ya mwanabiashara mmoja ambaye alikuwa mwanabiashara shupavu. Hii town ya Isebania tumeorganize maneno ya security. Kulikuwa na security officers wenye walikuwa na kwa patrol. But ile yenye tunataka tuulize wananchi ni kushare crucial security intelligence information. Kwa sababu hao wakora walishinda kutoka jana. Ile ripoti yenye tunapata ni kwamba walikuwa wanazunguka hapa jana. Hiyo muda yote hakuna mwenye alijulisha any security officer.
Many expressed disappointment in the manner in which the issue was being handled. The locals are demanding an immediate end to the runaway insecurity.
Si mara ya kwanza mambo hayo kufanyika sehemu ino. Sehemu ya Isebania kumekuwa kila siku watu wanapigwa. Juzi kukapigwa mtu akanyang'anywa pesa karibu 500,000 huko. Wakakata mkono. Jana mchana kwenye saa 12 watu hawajafunga maduka, majambazi wamekuja wampiga watu. Lakini baada ya kupiga watu, kawaida tegemezi ni kwamba polisi watakuja wasaidie. Hawakutukolezea.
Kitu kama hii ilifanyika saa 12 kuelekea saa 1. Askari walikuja 20 minutes later. Tayari mtu ameshaumia na wale wametoroka. Na walikuwa wanatembea kwa mguu. Tulikuwa tunawaona kabisa raia. Ni vile hatuna silaha.
Uongozi kuna mahali umeregea. Nafikiri kuweka maneno yote bayana, mimi kama kiongozi, hapa kuna maneno inastahili iangaziwe kwa jicho kali sana. Kwa sababu for one, wale askari performing, wao ni wepesi sana wa kupiga transfer. Tumekuwa na several police officers dedicated to the job, lakini they can't last 2 months. Kwa sababu ya vetted interest ya wale watu wana smuggle things kuja Kenya.
Isebania town is located along the 1,500 kilometer long Sirari corridor and is of strategic importance in facilitating trade in the East and Central Africa. For Sunday Express, I'm Zainab Said.
Now, the National Integrity Alliance has opposed the nomination of Director of Public Prosecutions, Dean Haji, as the next Director General of the National Intelligence Service. The alliance claims Haji's track record has been compromised and that he failed to fulfill his constitutional obligations as the DPP and vowed to challenge his nomination in court. President William Ruto nominated Haji to succeed Major General Philip Camero, who is serving his final term.
The Integrity Watchdog says it will on Monday petition the Public Service Commission to have the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, removed from office, even as they plan to table a memorandum to the National Assembly Committee on Defence, Intelligence and Foreign Relations challenging his suitability for appointment as Director General of the National Intelligence Service.
In the past 8 months, Kenyans have been astonished by a pattern of the withdrawal of corruption cases involving certain politically connected individuals, a number of whom have since been appointed to executive positions, which raises doubts about the DPP's impartiality and his commitment to fighting corruption, a pervasive problem that continues to hinder Kenya's progress.
The alliance further alleges that it has repeatedly called out the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for flawed prosecution of corruption cases, hoping for accountability to no avail.
The National Intelligence Alliance will continue to advance the Red Card Initiative to bar individuals that fall short of our constitutional, ethical, and moral requirements from ascending into public office.
We have seen the challenges where the parliament is just being used as a conveyor belt. But we hope on this matter they are going to be more serious. If then they end up endorsing him for final appointment, we'll go to court.
The Integrity Watchdog has until 5 p.m. May 29th to submit its memorandum to the National Assembly Committee on Defence, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. Yusufar reporting for Sunday Express.
Now, across borders, a 7-day ceasefire between Sudan's warring factions begin on Monday. And this follows the signing of the agreement between representatives of the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAR, and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. At least 850 people have been killed in the hostilities. Thousands of Sudanese have fled to neighboring Chad, where a humanitarian crisis is looming.
As part of the 7-day humanitarian ceasefire signed on Saturday, the 20th of May 2023, warring parties in Sudan agreed to restore essential services. Fighting between Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has plunged the country into chaos, with more than 1 million people thought to have been displaced. Stocks of food, money and essentials have fast declined, and aid groups have repeatedly complained of being unable to provide sufficient assistance in Khartoum, where much of the violence has taken place. This has led to a further humanitarian crisis in neighboring Chad as refugees flee the conflict. Both the regular army and the RSF have been urged to allow the distribution of humanitarian aid, restore essential services, and withdraw forces from hospitals. In eastern Chad, about 400,000 Sudanese refugees have already been hosted for the last 20 years. The Gaga refugee camp is one of the only 2 refugee camps in the east of Chad, which has for the last 2 decades hosted roughly 20,000 Sudanese refugees. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, plans to relocate 10,000 new Sudanese refugees to the Gaga camp. The refugee agency is already expanding the infrastructure in the camp to accommodate the new arrivals. So far, 1,000 of them have been settled at the Gaga refugee camp.
Well, ceasefire in Sudan indeed is a welcome move. A confirmation is that it is at 9:45 local time that's when we're going to be having that ceasefire. We'll be keeping tabs on what is happening in our neighboring countries. For now, we'll take a quick breather. We'll be back with more. Do not go away.
What am I forgetting? Nini, workers paid, rent checked. Mlango, locked. Visiting out of this. Goza mzae silitoa jana long. Internet sorted. What is it? What am I forgetting?
Nini? Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Unaweza shinda hadi milioni 2 kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number weka 757070. Account number weka neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Lipa kisha subiri draw. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
It is one of the oldest competitions in football history, the DFB Pokal. Catch all the high-tempo fun, the cheers and tears as football made in Germany comes to you live on KBC Channel 1.
Gorgeous little flick from Mario Götze. Let's in Colomani to score. His 4th in the competition this season. Way better than any blockbuster.
Don't miss the grand finale on the 3rd of June 2023. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We'll let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened. Bah!
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do.
Cheza Loto Moto.
Kwa majina naitwa Irene Dunge. I'm a business lady. Nafanyanga biashara hapa Adams. Loto Moto is real. Msiogope kucheza. Muendelee kucheza, mtawin. Kuna a lot of stuffs zenye unaweza win. Kuna cash. So it's a good experience. Nimejishindia 8,000. Nashukuru sana.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number weka 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Lipa kisha subiri draw.
You are still watching Sunday Express. Now off to the counties. Leaders from 2 clashing communities in Baringo County have called upon the national government to establish schools in bandit-stricken areas as a solution to end insecurity. This and more details from across the county.
Speaking during a peace and reconciliation meeting in Kabarian location at Kabirok area, member of the county assembly drawn from the Tugen and Pokot communities noted illiteracy levels, which stands at 96% in the region, as fuel kettle rustling.
Sisi tumesema kama watu wa Kabarion tungependa wote tuwe pamoja, wabunge wetu pamoja, seneta wetu pamoja, gavana wetu pamoja, serikali yetu pamoja, ndio tuweze kuendelea mbele. Kama namna gani?
Meanwhile, a section of retired employees of the Kenya Railways Corporation in Kakamega County are demanding 3 months pension arrears. At a meeting in London Market, they threatened to take to the streets if the issue is not resolved.
Wangu alikufa. Akaniwacha nipate pension hii nisaidie sipatangi. Imeisha miezi 3 sipati kitu. Nikienda kopa kitu kwa duka naambiwa usilete pesa. Wewe pana sumbua.
Sasa tunashindwa pesa ya kujivinjari nayo kwa mahoteli. Wanapata wapi na ya pension hakuna. Therefore sisi Nairobi tumeitisha protest mwezi wa June.
Meanwhile, security agents in Goni Ward, Mwingi East Kitui County have been blamed for laxity leading to insecurity. Residents cite a recent incident whereby a house belonging to Nguni MCS aide was stored after a robbery.
Nilipata hasara ya 1,800 ya vitu za nyumba, ukihesabu nyumba yenyewe. Kuna suspect lakini bado hajakuwa arrested, so maybe tunafikiria ni vile mambo ya polisi inaenda, tunangojea kutoka kwa polisi.
Katika majumba tofauti watu usiku wanakuja na fisu, wanatoboa maji na mwaga yote inaisha. Hatujui sababu zote za kutoboa matangi ni nini. Kwa hivyo patrol ikue na at the same time street lighting ikue. Kwa hivyo Governor Malombe and the executive, watu wakazi wanaitisha street lighting kwa haraka ambayo inapaswa. Tumwaambia watu wa KPLC watupe report ya hii nyumba.
Finally, the first cohort of 40 learners undertaking the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program IBDP have graduated from the M-Pesa Foundation Academy. The graduates will transition to the institution's Uongozi Center from June to December this year to undertake programs that will equip them with skills and knowledge in readiness for tertiary education. Brian Onsom for Sunday Express.
Now, from the counties, did you know that a metal roof of genuine quality ought to serve a user for an average of 40 years? Fake iron sheets start peeling, fading, corroding, and allowing leakage in under 5 years. So this week, on The Process, Nisi Imano takes us through the process of making iron sheets.
We are welcomed into the vast Mabati Rolling Mills factory grounds in Syokimau by the Chief Executive Officer, Manish Mehra.
We sell not only roofing sheets, but solutions also, which go along with the roofing sheets. And in the future also, through technology and through our innovations, we will always bring the best-in-class solutions to the customers in Kenya.
Manish hands us over to Bernard Mbuthia, who is the operations manager at the Mabati Rolling Mills factory and who will now take us through the Mabati making process.
We do roll forming. We also do panels manufacture or sandwich insulated panels manufacture, which are used for courtrooms. We also do stone coated products, which go by the brand name Lifestyle.
Mbuthia takes us step by step through this process.
Once we get into the main line where we do the stone coating, the first thing that we do is the feeding of the blanks into the line. We call it a slit coil, about 455 millimeter width. Then we feed into this. Then after that, wherever you are seeing of that motion there, that is where we are doing now the molding. Right now we are doing a profile called Roman.
Next will be the jet printing or inkjet marking, which is per the Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Where we have to give the manufacturer's name, we have also to give the brand name, we have also to give the thickness of that material, the ZAS coating, and of course the date of manufacture and also the time of manufacture.
Then comes the base coat application.
Which is mainly an adhesive application on the surface of the steel substrate, and this base coat we import from South Korea.
Next is the granules application.
Stone granules, one will make a cooler roof for you, and if you compare the temperature between a stone coated product and the one that is not stone coated, there will be a temperature difference of more than 4 degrees in terms of temperature difference. So for cooler environments and cooler houses, a stone coated product will be more ideal also.
After that is done, comes the blowing off of the excess stone chips from the surface of the product. It is then time for the top coat application.
Top coat application, one gives the gloss finish on the surface, and this is more aesthetical, and of course also it is also protective to the product in terms of preventing water ingress into the product, mainly the stone granules. Ingress of water might cause maybe some defects which are not desired, and so we have to use the top coat on the surface to protect that surface.
The product at this stage goes into the oven
for the curing or the baking. Baking will take about 1 hour, and baking will be done in stages in terms of various temperature profiles, where we'll start with a lower temperature of about 80 degrees, then we'll go to around 130, then to another stage of about 170, and of course at the end of the process the temperature will go back to around 80 degrees also.
It is then left to naturally cool.
The cooling process, we leave it for about 8 hours. The natural cooling. It is not forced cooling, it is natural cooling.
Throughout the factory, the material is lifted by the use of overhead cranes and lifting belts that are able to carry heavy loads.
As we take care of our raw material, also the finished goods, it is very important for us to make sure that we take care of that material to avoid any damages on the finished products. As we are storing it within the shop floor or the factory, and also as we are transporting it to the end user or the customer. So when we are doing the stacking of these finished goods, which are the sheets, we'll put some wooden dungeons in between to help us in proper stacking, and also to avoid any edge damages, because these wooden dungeons will act like a bumper, or a damper. It will take the shocks.
At the final stage, the product is kept in storage till when an order is made and the product is ready to be taken to the consumer.
There you have it, from the precision in the choice of the raw materials all the way to the attention to detail aspect of the mabati making process. Reporting from Syokimau in Machakos County, I'm Nisi Imano.
And we're encouraged by Kenya Build Kenya. Now that away from matters of the process, in not too long we're going to be speaking sports with none other than Daniel Wahome, and later on we're going to be talking about matters of mental health. What are the triggers? Where do you seek help? And Kenya's mental health policy, has it met its objectives? So do keep it right here.
Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
It is one of the oldest competitions in football history, the DFB Pokal. Catch all the high-tempo fun, the cheers and tears as football made in Germany comes to you live on KBC Channel 1.
Gorgeous little flick from Mario Götze. Let's in Colomani to score. His fourth in the competition this season. Way better than any blockbuster.
Don't miss the grand finale on the 3rd of June 2023. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
It is the cup with the golden ticket. Mozart Bet Cup, 2 million shillings. CAF Confederations Cup. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet Cup.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sunday Express Sport. Now, start our news on a sad note. The national sevens team Shujaa has been relegated from the World Rugby 7 Series after losing 7-12 to Canada in the playoff final at Twickenham, London. It was an heavy affair as both teams were aware of what was at stake. the 12th and final slot in the reimagined series from 2023-2024 onwards. Billy Odhiambo played in Captain Nelson Oyo, who turned his defenders inside out before touching down. Tony Omondi converted to put Shujaa 7-0 ahead. Brock Webster converted Josiah Morris' try to level up the scores at 7-all at the break. Alex Russell's late try and the ensuing penalty advantage meant Canada were in possession at full time, kicking the ball out to confirm their status for next season, as Shujaa will be out of the series for the first time since attaining core status in 2004-2005. Now, reigning national champions Kenya Pipeline will take on Zamalek of Egypt in the final of the 2023 Women's African Volleyball Club Championship in Tunisia. The final of the Continental Showpiece will be played tomorrow in Hammamet.
The poll get out charges labelled before seeing off host Carthage of Tunisia by 3-2 in the semi-finals. CFC won the first set 25-18 before losing the second set 25-27. A rejuvenated Kenya Pipeline bagged the third set 25-23 but lost the fourth set 23-25 to send the match into the fifth set, which the Kenyan champions won 15-9 to book a slot in the final. The team qualified for the last four after beating NKF of Cameroon by 3 straight sets of 25-10, 25-13 and 25-21. On the other hand, CFC of Tunisia booked their place in the semi-finals after eliminating APR of Rwanda by 3 straight sets. Meanwhile, Egyptian side Zamalek humbled MCA of Algeria by 3-1 to qualify for the final. A new champion will be crowned this year after defending champions KCB lost to MCA of Algeria in the quarterfinals.
And we wish Kenya Pipeline all the best. Now, former league champions GOA were humbled 10-1 by Phoenix during the National Men's Rollball League match played Sunday at the Gretsa University in Thika, Kiambu County. The league resumed this weekend following a 2-month break.
Two-time league champions Glory Outreach Assemblies Goa lost their 4th match this season as Phoenix grabbed their 6th win in an emphatic fashion. James Mwangi was in fine form for Phoenix, scoring 5 goals as Solomon Kinuthia scored twice, while Hamilton Gisheru grabbed a hat-trick to hand the Tony Shady coach side the vital win. Alberto Muarez scored the consolation goal for Goa.
Tumeanza vizuri, although timu yangu imefungwa na tumechapwa 10-1, lakini ni kwa ajili ya kupumzika kwa muda mrefu, but tutakuwa sawa in the next game 2 ama 3 zinazokuja.
Katika federation yetu inajaribu sana kutusaidia kuonesha namna vile tunaweza kuendeleza mchezo huu kwa muda sahihi, kwa sababu tuko na karibu ya miaka 10 tangu mchezo huu tuanze hapa Kenya.
In another men's result, Wolves edged out host Gretsa 7-3 as Tigers narrowly beat St. Paul's University 3-2. In the ladies' matches, Gretsa registered a slim 1-0 win against Wolves, with Bill Habore scoring the lone goal in the 24th minute. A total of 6 matches were played during the 12th round of the league, expected to end in July. Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, are the reigning men's league champions, while Achibela, currently ranked 3rd on the log, are seeking to defend their women's title.
Tumejiandaa fiti, tumerudi, ndio kuna challenges, tulikuwa tumezoea indo sivyo, sasa hii tumepata ground ni ile tulikuwa tumezoea, so kuna challenges kumeumia but tunaendelea kujiandaa.
It was a good experience in India. Tulienda India kucheza World Cup. It was a nice experience. It was my first time, so it was so nice, but tulikuwa na challenges mingi sana.
Bana Dokumu, Sunday Express.
Now, Brabant Swimming Club, Seahorses Aquatic Center and Bandari Swim Club posted outstanding results as the curtains came down on the Kenya Swimming Federation Schools National Trials at the Kasarani Aquatic Center. The 3-day event attracted 18 schools from different counties.
Eliana Maina took a time of 37.03 seconds to emerge victorious in the girls 10 to 11 years girls 50 meters butterfly category, with Zara Swahin and Nadia Vusha completing the podium dash. In the 200 meters over 16 ladies individual medley category, Maria Brunella emerged victorious ahead of Axela Ichesa and Sarah Moss, who took the second and third places respectively. Swale Abubakra, Neo Lengo and Matimu Nathan also posted good results, bagging gold medals in different categories.
For now, I'm feeling short-term goals, so that's this afternoon my 53. Hopefully a good time, maybe. Hopefully if that goes well, I can make the international team for the rest of this year.
The three-day event attracted 18 schools from different counties. For Sunday Express, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Now, Strathmore men's handball team trounced Kenyatta University 33-17 in a closely contested Group B Super Cup match played at the Nyayo National Stadium outdoor court. In other matches played today, GSU men were held to a 17-all draw by Black Mamba, while Rangers women narrowly defeated National Cereals and Produce Board 27-24.
Strathmore University dominated the first and second half 18-7 and 15-10 respectively. Strathmore University's Eshiton Situma and Kenyatta University's Breathwell Kiprop scored 6 goals each to emerge as the top scorers. Meanwhile, GSU men were unable to beat Black Mamba after drawing 17-17 in a hotly contested match. In another match, Rangers women narrowly defeated National Cereals and Produce Board women 27-24 after coming from behind in the second half to seal the win. Sarah Mamboga, Joe Akinyi and Adam Usilibi produced an astounding performance by contributing 5 goals each.
Now, athletic stakeholders in Embu County are now calling for stiffer penalties to perpetrators of doping to ensure that young athletes are protected. Athletics Kenya Embu branch chairman Stephen Jero said the National Assembly should pass a law that will ensure that those who engage in drugs are not only banned but also jailed to deter others from doping.
Speaking during the under-20 team selection at the University of Embu grounds, Athletics Kenya Embu branch chairman Stephen Jeru wants sportsmen from Mount Kenya to desist from drugs such as chewing miraa since it contains banned substances.
Hatujawahi fanya sub-county tena, wakati ule mwingine wote tunakujanga kwa county, tunafanya kitu kidogo ya county, tunachagua team alafu tunaenda regionals.
He also advised upcoming athletes to avoid over-the-counter medications as some of the drugs contain banned substances.
Tutachagua kikosi cha county ambacho governor amesema kitakuwa training, na tutakuwa tukibaki na wale under 20 wakati wote wa shule zikifungwa likizo. Wakati wa likizo wote wanakuwa hapa Embu, tunakuwa tukiwa train.
Kenya Secondary School Sports Association Secretary Elijah Kiarie noted that the athletics initiative between Athletics Kenya and Embu County will go a long way to nurture and grow upcoming talents who will now have a permanent training camp.
Katika upande wetu wa secondary tumekuwa na shida ile ya capacity. Yaani hatujapata nafasi kabisa ya kuweka watoto wetu kwa camp, na hatujakuwa tukifanya vizuri sana katika mikoa, michezo yetu ya mikoa na hata nationals.
Embu County is in the process of selecting a team from all sub-counties to compete in the county championships, where a team will be selected from the regional championships. For Sunday Express, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
And that's the Sunday Express Sport for tonight. Remember that we'll be keeping tabs on a lot of activities coming this week, especially that final where Kenya Pipeline want to go for the continental title. That's tomorrow night with a bigger report on Tuesday, and also a word from Coach Paul Getau tomorrow on Sports Check. That's 10 a.m. till noon. My name is Daniel Wahome. Have a very good evening. And now we're moving on to a Sunday Express interview where the topic is understanding mental health. Regina Manyara will be speaking with counseling psychologist Jane Ngatia. That's coming up after this break.
It is the cup with the golden ticket. Mozart Bet Cup. 2 million shillings. CAF Confederations Cup. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet Cup.
Well, did you know that, burnout and unhealed grieving can cause serious mental health disorder? As the country commemorates the Mental Health Month marked on May to create awareness and sensitization, Kamchimenza brings us the story of Augusta Seki, a mental health disorder survivor.
It is 11 years now since Augusta Seki, a former administrator who worked in Afghanistan, was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, one of the mental health illnesses.
Because I was working, there was a way I was used to a certain habit. I used to wake up at a certain time, I used to eat a certain time, but now some things went stopping. You just find like yourself busy doing something else and getting an excuse to do what you used to do.
Augusta never noticed anything different until the illness progressed and her colleagues at work started to talk.
That I had lost so much weight, I couldn't tell. At some point, because I was an administrator, I started typing things that they were not being understood. I was not feeling anything other than the anxiety and palpitations. When I was brought in to see a doctor, I was told I have to be hospitalized. So they said probably this is some signs or symptoms of depression and they have to check me out.
Her illness would later morph into post-traumatic stress disorder and mood disorder.
I believe there was a lot of unresolved issues on the grief, the loss and grief I encountered, and then now plus the burnout, the workplace burnout. I had not taken the vacation in time. If I had, I would have come, relaxed, and maybe probably re-energized to go back to work.
Going through therapy, she says, was not easy. Denial and stigma worsened the situation.
That time, you don't have that, is it luxury of thinking? No, you don't think. Mm-hmm. You just happen to now think after the journey of now recovering has started. That is when you'll realize you stopped this. How did it come to stop? What happened? Oh yeah, this is why. But during that particular time when you're falling ill, you don't think that way.
The symptoms are many, depending on the category, depending on what people are going through. So I can't say this is one thing, but I will say check change of behavior, check change of habits that they are used to. If they were quiet, they are becoming too talkative all of a sudden. Somebody who was very tidy, all of a sudden they are not taking care of themselves. But then also be very careful about when it is continuous. For depression, we say 2 weeks because you can easily pick it out. For other situations, watch for a period of time.
The most common diagnosis is depression, anxiety, and substance abuse disorders.
I usually try and advocate so much for workplaces to try and educate people that mental health is very essential because it's from within. Nobody else can be able to tell until when you're totally broken down.
I will go back to the family system. Let the families work, please. Let people know that there is treatment. And we can go for treatment when we see the issues coming up.
The mental health disorder survivor decided to pursue a psychology course to understand her situation and further help many in her situation. 1 out of 4 persons who seek healthcare in Kenya have a mental health condition. In 2020, Kenya established a mental health task force to implement a number of reforms to improve care for individuals with mental health conditions. Kamchimenza for Sunday Express.
What am I forgetting? Nini, workers paid, rent checked, mlango locked, visiting out of house, goza mzazi nilitoa jana la internet sorted. What is it? What am I forgetting? What?
Ni nini? Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Unaweza shinda hadi milioni 2 kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number weka 757070. Account number weka neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2,000. Lipa kisha subiri draw. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLP.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial *811 *963#.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial *811 *963#. *811 *963#.
Express. Quick challenge here. Just let's do some mathematics. Whatever it is you're watching this particular broadcast from, kindly look at your surroundings. How many people are in the room with you? Well, just know out of the number of people you are seated with or actually socializing with in this particular moment, 1 out of every 4 is seeking, treatment for one mental disorder or another. That is as per government's statistics. That is the conversation we're having tonight on Sunday Express as we seek to understand mental health and in particular look at, the mental health policy and if it has met its objectives and where the challenges lie. Joining me this evening is none other than counseling psychologist Jane Ngatia. Karibu sana, ma'am, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You look amazing in your African outfit.
Thank you. We are keeping Africa alive.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and it's part of mental health.
It is. Yes, how we appear, how we dress, how we talk to each other is part of our mental health. True. Now, that particular precursor that we had this evening, done by Kamchemanza, it talked about, it put into perspective the Kenya mental health policy that was put in place and a task force, so to speak. From where you sit in the value chain, do you think that we have met our objectives when it comes to addressing matters of mental health?
That's a very important question, Regina. I like it because it helps us, first of all, to know that we have a policy in place in this country that addresses issues of mental health. I thank the government of Kenya and those in charge of it. Allow me to say this is work in progress. Considering that this policy and definitely the sector is still new, I would even call it young. It is work in progress, considering again that there are so many of us Kenyans who have issues. You have just mentioned the statistic, and that's very worrying. It should cause concern to all of us. So there is so much work to be done, and work is going on. Mm-hmm. And we need to take responsibility and not just wait for help to find us at home. We need to look for that help. We need to be able to identify when we are not very well, when we are not mentally stable, when we have issues that actually need to be treated.
I like what you've said, that we need to be proactive when it comes to dealing with mental health. But then the question is, a majority of people do not know that they are suffering from mental disorders. Maybe you can unpack for us. What should we be looking out for?
Again, a very important observation there. It's very easy to tell that I'm not mentally well, if I may use myself as an example. And now we are saying also that mental health issues are quite a range of experiences. We are talking of either chronic anxiety, whenever I feel anxious about something, and it persists for rather a longer time. And again, the intensity of it. Does it ground me? Does it stop me from carrying on with my normal activities? That I should be able to assess for myself even before anyone notices, because I'll feel it. and I'll know I'm actually not on the right track. Things like depression. Well, we get depressed from time to time, but there is that depression which now would be categorized as clinical. Clinical depression will normally be diagnosed or assessed when a person has had certain symptoms. Talk of lack of interest on the top list. Whenever we feel we are no longer interested in what we used to be interested in or to enjoy for that matter, then there's a problem. That's a signal that something is not okay. Sometimes we may go sleepless for a while. That prolonged durations of not sleeping well.
Insomnia, that is?
Yes, insomnia. Thank you, Regina. You have it. And again, also lack of appetite. Now, the reason why these symptoms seem to be tying each other is because biologically, whatever regulates things to do with the food, appetite, sleep, mood, happens from more or less the same place in the brain. And so when that mechanism isn't in order, then we experience the same. So now we call them the behavioral, the emotional, and so on symptoms. So whenever I feel that I am not online, then I should be able to give myself some kind of basic assessment. I should look for help. Yes.
But not on a broader spectrum, looking at, the social aspect, especially within the work environment. You have seen on social media the term toxic work environment and such. From where you sit as a counseling psychologist, what then can we do to ensure that also, in as much as it is an individual, responsibility to check if your feelings, your emotions, are aligned to what you used to like. But what about the social aspect? What can we do to ensure that we are in, areas that bring out the best of us and not drain us?
Yes, I came in too soon, but allow me now to say that whenever one works in an environment that they are not happy about the job they do, it's very important that one enjoys what they do. We spend so much time at work, whatever nature of work it is. There are those regulated hours of work. And if I'm not happy, then definitely I'll be a very sad person. So that is one thing. The other thing is about the work environment, the people around me. Are we getting along? And that again could be my responsibility to ensure that I'm able to tag with the people I work with. Because generally, most of workplaces, one does not work alone.
Yes.
And again, the employer has a responsibility. How well adjusted are the employees that are working? And that's why we have people like human resource managers. I guess part of their job is to check on the human resource. Are people performing? If they are not, what is the problem? Is there one of us who is out of the race? If they are, why are they out of the circle?
You've asked a very good question, and at this point it will remain rhetoric at this point. Now let me take you back to the 1 out of 4 of every Kenyan is seeking, particular mental health services. You're a counselor yourself. When you have a sit down with these persons who are seeking help, what is their main core issue? What are they struggling with?
Regina, life is getting harder. Things are not getting easier. The social problems that we have affect families, affect individuals in the wrong land. That means people will be affected by what happens, even the political climate of any given country. Let's take, for example, our own country. We love it, Kenya. That instability, that fear, the anxiety of what happens tomorrow. Is salary coming or not? Is my family going to have enough to feed on or not? Are my children going to school or not? Do I have the fees and all that? Now, these are social problems that narrow down to the individual. And therefore, problems increase because we are able to assimilate what happens in our own environment. So when the environment is a bit scaring, it's a bit threatening, it's not too assuring, and we cannot be sure of tomorrow or the next minute, then we are likely to absorb that, and that emotionally will get into our heads, and whichever way, it may have even started from our heads emotionally, and then we behave like, you know, life is losing meaning at the end of the day.
Now, we talked about the mental health policy that has a lifespan of 20 from 2015 all the way to 2030. We are roughly either 7+, given how we're looking at, you know, less than a decade to actually see if we have come to fruition. Now, let's look at the aspect of accessibility to mental health services and the budgetary allocation towards mental health services. As a professional within this particular value chain,
that's an area of concern, and it is very important, Regina, that you have brought it up. We are concerned as psychologists out there. I'm sure other people who are working towards maintenance and sustenance of mental health are equally concerned. Probably we may also look at what else is competing with these resources. While probably I may not be able to talk about the budgetary allocation, definitely we need resources allocated to the areas of mental health. Listen, a person who is not mentally stable will not work. We are talking about development. We are talking about that young person who needs to be well to be able to go to work, to be able to provide for their family, to be able to complete school and colleges and all that. I mean, mental health is everything. We need more sensitization. We need more people get to know about what is this mental health, how does it concern me, where would I get help? And so we need also more people trained in this area to be able to handle. We are talking about more doctors are needed, more nurses are needed. Why? People are falling sick. Strange diseases are coming around. They're affecting us. We need more research done. And so we need all that equally done for the mental health areas. So I'm here also advocating that we need more support. We are kind of overwhelmed. We have people who are really down, and mental health will kill eventually. It will weaken the economy. It will weaken the person. It will weaken families. And what does it mean? It translates to a stagnated society, a society that is wasting. So we need areas of mental health supported. And I thank God the government of Kenya is up with it, but more needs to be done, and a little faster.
Now, as we come to a conclusion, Madam Gatia, we are dealing with children in our families, and you mentioned the issue of depression, anxiety, basically even mental disorders within the family setup. Let's focus on this and the ripple effect it is having, dysfunctional families, and the ripple effect now it is having on our youth, especially in school, as we come to a close.
Again, a very important observation. I like the way it is going. And by the way, children get depressed as well. And children suffer from anxiety. When things are not working, for the parents, let's take, for instance, for the guardians, for the caretaker of that child, the child get affected. There's that tipper effect that at the end of the day, it is from the parent to the child. When the parents are not happy, the child is able to sense and they are not happy too. So it's possible that we get an entire family with mental, health that is poor, that is not desirable at all. So it's time also to work on the children, schools, and I think it is high time we offer mental health all the way, not just for the adults, also for the children who are going to school. Actually, this should also be a teachable area. The child needs to be able to tell when they feel so sad, they are not sure whom to tell. They can talk to the teacher, they can talk to anyone else, they can talk to their older siblings, and eventually to their parents. That way, we are able to salvage this country from issues of mental health that are taking us down the drain.
I will not water down what you just said, is that it means that if you're tackling mental health issues, we need to start from the bottom up, so to speak, from the children, because it's a ripple effect.
True.
Well, there we've been speaking to none other than counseling psychologist Jane Ngatia. When it comes to matters of mental health, is that it is a whole societal, duty. You be your brother's keeper, be your own keeper. Check on those things that make you anxious. Lack of appetite, you can't sleep and such. Look into yourself. Things that you like, you no longer like them anymore. You need to really assess yourself as you tackle issues of mental health. I've been your host, Regina Manyara, and you've been watching KBC Channel 1 Sunday Express. I wish you a pleasant week ahead.
Nafasi yako ya kuwa mdosi wako. Jiunge na washindi tufanye biashara. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
Nikikuona kazona waza sikukota mimi. Jamani. Mashallah.
Chama Sunday, what is going on?
What is going on, Wabe?
Karatasi ndafikia wapi?
Ya kusuilia unyevu na umomonyoko wa maji kwenye nguo zako.
Amata wasaba.
Ya bwana. Hey.
Congratulations. Wow.
Kai. Ni sumu mbaya sana hii. Sumu. Unanyolewa. Very good.
Wewe tatika. Friday, prasa ya makanika ndio unaweka kwa masikio.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We'll let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened. Bah!
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do.
On our normal day, Save a Life hit the road to Kandara, Murang'a County. When we arrived, we encountered a sad situation. We had met this